So in the start of the episode, or at least partway through, the king goes, Varian's dangerous, so Rapunzel needs to get locked in a tower, which is surely a good idea. And the queen doesn't tell him anything, but she sees Rapunzel is sad, and goes to her room and goes, Rapunzel, you're sad, and I'm so sorry that this has to happen. And Rapunzel's like, does it have to happen? Is this right? And the queen goes, no, it isn't. And disappears. She didn't do anything about it, which is a bit weird, because I kind of expected her to. Especially after re-meeting her sister, who's adventurous, and reawakens her adventurous spirit. You'd think, you're going to take a chance.
I thought that she has like the beginning of many arcs, but she never finishes them.
And then Queen Arianna gets transported by Varian to a lovely new summer resort. It's called Old Corona. Join me in my journey to Spiky Land. Anyway, so our favourite scene of the entire show is Varian throwing the sleep dust and going, sleep. That's just very memeable in my opinion.
Was that the most humane way anyone has ever been kidnapped?
He is a very nice kidnapper. He's very gentle with her. He basically provides her with all the food that he has over the past 3 months, which may be nothing, but he's had nothing to eat, so you know. I don't exactly know how he carries her back to his home, which is supposedly 4 hours walk away when you're not carrying a queen on your back.
Especially with time to make all those automatons and set it up while he's gotten there, if the kingdom is supposedly leaving within the hour.
Who even knows?
And they've got horses, and he's carrying them towards his body, possibly more than his weight.
Does he have a wheelbarrow? Where's his wheelbarrow? I want to see his wheelbarrow.
He lives in a farming village, he probably does.
There's got to be one. Anyway, she is faced with a dilemma. You are very loosely tied up with only your hands, and you're standing in a room with a depressed, grieving child. What do you do? And her choice is nothing at all. So Varian goes, I apologise that I have to keep you here, but I have to have you as bait to take Rapunzel here, because I need Rapunzel. And she goes, I'm struggling in my restraints. and then she's like, why do you want Rapunzel? Because, I mean, at least in her defence, she wasn't awake when Varian gave his "this is why I'm doing it" script. And, you know, Varian goes, well, I've asked everyone for help, and they haven't told me anything. They haven't helped me, they haven't come over here to, like, figure out what's wrong. And, you know, he's been neglected for 3 months and attacked by some royal guards with swords. Great way to spend your grieving period. Nice. And he straddles over the fossilised process going on in the middle of his room. And he goes, basically, this is why I need help. Dramatic noises as the tarp comes off. And the queen goes, oh no, basically. Because she sees
Rapunzel.
Better than Rapunzel's response. Rapunzel's response was, oh no, I've caused harm to some people. I'm so sad I shouldn't have left my castle.
I shouldn't have come help this, probably.
I shouldn't have come found out why Varian's upset. I should have stayed in my nice safe house. But no, Queen Arianna looks shocked and then goes, what will you do after you've freed your father? Which is strange because in a position of power as she is, she should accept some responsibility. Or maybe go, are you okay? You've been alone for 3 months looking at the corpse of your dad who's fossilised in your room. Are you alright? None of that. Perhaps she's just not very good at being with children because she lost hers. I don't know.
Remember in like episode 1, season 1 or something, they're like all teenagers, difficult, we can't teenagerism.
I feel like she should at least care a little bit about the citizen of her kingdom who's been in an inhabitable location on his own with a raccoon and his fossilised dad. Yeah, next time we see her, Rapunzel and the king have managed to sneak into the house, like Varian predicted, and they are big failures. Weirdly enough, though, Queen Arianna's in the room. She's just kind of behind a purple curtain because she's purple. And when she hears Rapunzel and the king step into the room, there's no, watch out, it's a trap, you know, like Star Wars or something. None of that. It's
random Star Wars weapons.
She's perfectly fine, unharmed, and just behind a curtain. Is it a muffling curtain? Is it soundproof? I don't know. Anyway, she doesn't do anything, so they get captured like failures. And the king goes, I demand that you let us go and tell us where the queen is. And Varian, in his very nice manner somehow, is like, don't worry, I'll compromise. And he's smiling, he's like, the queen's fine, she's behind the curtain. And, oh, I kind of forgot to mention the song.
Yeah, in the song, in Ready as Overby, I like to compare the Queen's response to being kidnapped and having her kidnapper sing a song, and I like to contrast that with Varian's response in Nothing Left to Lose. So the Queen doesn't have any singing lines. She does Varian, and Varian in Nothing Left to Lose has an entire verse to himself and a duet part with Cassandra. And he starts the song.
Varian's really trying his best to convince Cassandra not to do bad things, even when he's getting hurt. The Queen is completely fine, but she's not injured in any way. But she doesn't seem to, think that maybe she could be doing something. I know she's kidnapped and all, but, you'd think maybe someone who had, a danger-seeking life in her childhood would at least consider telling this traumatised child that things are okay and that she's going to help him. So the Queen continues to do nothing, and she's just like, I'm alright. And then Varian goes, all right, people are probably going to kill me if I take so long, so I'm going to speed up this process. And he sadly pours the amber solution onto the rock, and the Queen goes, oh no, that's bad. At this point, Frederick should throw the sword over to the Queen so she can cut the chain, because that's what he does in the end. But he doesn't do that until he's freed from his own trap. So
the trap encasing his feet, not his hands.
Do you not care about the Queen? I guess maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just thought, yeah, I don't need to free her until I'm free, because if I'm not free, it doesn't matter, or something. I don't even know. It just seems like a weird thing to me.
They did, at that point, plan to put all of the royalty in this dangerous person's place. They were, endangering all of the royal family.
This episode's just proof that everyone in Corona except Varian has 0 brain cells. Anyway, they escape Varian, only to walk out the door slowly, pause for dramatic effect, realise Varian's coming, and the Queen goes, oh no, as she gets picked up and yet again used as a, hey look, I'm still threatening people thing.
Fridge.
Because she's being fridged, which is a term you can probably find on that one YouTuber's channel who talks about different tropes in shows. But basically, she's being injured not because it's emotional for her, but because it's emotional for Rapunzel, who gets 15 million pounds to her shocked expression in this scene. They just kept going, look, she's shocked, the Queen's getting strangled. Look, she's shocked, the Queen's getting killed. Look, she's shocked, Cassandra's getting strangled. I get it.
It's because Rapunzel's thing is pans.
Pans. So the Queen gets beautifully let down from the hand in majesticness and then picked up by someone who possibly cares about her and given a hug. And Cassandra gets splatted on the floor because we love our beautiful parallels that don't matter.
Parallels that should have been used in Winter Club.
They should have mentioned at some point that Cassandra's not cared about and that poor people aren't cared about, but the royal family is. They don't.
We can't add classism. We can only infer it.
Anyway, the Queen then does nothing for the rest of the episode. She stands there just to remind you that they rescued her. She's still here.
Not hurt.
She wears purple. I was going to introduce season 3 though. In season 3, the Queen is memory wiped. Go look at my memory wipe theory, by the way. And she's now in the mindset she had as a teenager, I suppose. Because we see her in King and Queen of Hearts and she's doing, dangerous stunts she would have done as a teen. And this whole episode...
Not wondering where Willow is.
Yeah, she doesn't care about Willow.
She doesn't care about her parents.
No one
Maybe
cares.
They died when she was a child. Oh my god, everyone in the show is an orphan. Everybody. No exceptions, apart from Rapunzel. She is allowed parents because she's the main character.
So, it's a bit suspicious because, why is her domestic life being controlled by her husband and her daughter at all times? The Queen
I
finds...
understand husbands at this time period, but not a daughter. Makes no sense at all.
The Queen finds that she has stuff in common with this other guy, who, at this point, is as close to her as King Frederick, because the two of these guys don't know each other very well, because of the memory stuff. And this guy has stuff in common with her. He's like, hey, so I found this spot where there's this cool animal. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Is it like this? And they're like, yeah, I found this item. Isn't it cool? And she's like, yeah, it is actually. So what else do you know? And Rapunzel sees this normal conversation. He takes over this guy and whacks him in the head with a pan. Inflict pain on people who talk to your mother. She's not allowed, friends. So all autonomy is taken away from the Queen. She's not allowed friends, she's not allowed to make her own decisions because they upset Rapunzel. For some reason, the only thing that they're allowed to remember in this episode is that Rapunzel's their daughter, and therefore they are happy. It's really creepy,
Wait,
actually.
did they have... Yeah, how old are they? I
It's,
don't know when they had Rapunzel and I'm scared now.
it's kind of creepy the way that these two are kind of in a teenage mental state, and now they have a daughter that they didn't know they had, who's 20. That's creepy. Either way, though, they're on this boat and they're like, I know nothing about myself because I've forgotten most of my life and most of my memory. But at least I know Rapunzel is fantastic. Don't kill me, writers. I'm saying the main character's good. She's not.
Maybe she got put in prison and that's why she married Frederick.
Who even knows? Queen Arianna, at least in season 1, the fact that you were under duress and not allowed to do anything was kept off screen. Now I'm looking at you going, what are you being forced to do? I worry about her. Suddenly in the final episode, it's like, oh, by the way, Rapunzel, you're the only one who can solve Cassandra's problem. Here's a moment of my life when I had a struggle with someone I knew, her sister. And she's like giving advice or something. I don't know why she's in this scene. Anyone could have been in this scene.
I was really surprised to open up the episode thinking, okay, what dramatic thing's gonna happen near the beginning to open up this 3-parter? I know we just had a dramatic thing happen in the episode before which should make it a 4-parter, but it doesn't happen. But it isn't a 4-parter, so what's gonna happen? And then we have background purple and foreground purple talking.
So the Queen in this episode gives that random pep talk, fades into the background a bit more, and then has like a one line when they're off in that weird pea soup dimension, where she says, Frederick
The pea soup dimension.
became rabbit, I believe. I don't know, I wasn't really watching.
I kind of wanted to leave the room and never come back in that room.
I zoned out as soon as we got to Monkey. So yeah, she's pretty much a letdown in season 3.
She rides a horse back with Rapunzel and then sits on the table of where the parents are.
I'm not even sure she gets a line in that song. Oh, she gets a mention. Rapunzel, says something about breaking through walls and nods to her. Because we've never broken through any other walls that could be significant to this moment. Except for, in Secret at the Sundrop, we broke through a wall and that was the whole thing that we were aiming to do, and we were like, wow, that was great. I mean, to be honest, Through It All was very repetitive in its tune. I know some people out there like Through It All. I'm not a fan.
It's okay if you do.
So then, generally about Queen Arianna, her character design, she always fades into the background. Something about her purpley greyness. Every single scene she's in, she doesn't stand out. Especially in season 3, when Rapunzel wears the same dress, basically.
Rapunzel has this bright yellow distinguishing hair. It's not blonde like it is in the film, it's just bright yellow in this. The Queen kind of doesn't.
The Queen has no features that make me look at her. The King is big. Eugene wears blue and is like a different shape to most other characters. Rapunzel has hair. The Queen... In this show, characters who were kidnapped, if you're not called Rapunzel, you're not the main focus of the episode. It would have been quite interesting, actually, to have a larger section of that episode be dedicated to a thing between the Queen and Varian. Imagine if she tried talking to him, and we had a scene between them like that, rather than just, hey, the Queen is kidnapped, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Anyway, I think that's it for what we have to say about Queen Arianna. Unless, of course, someone puts in a really interesting comment and I want to respond to it. That's unlikely though, considering this is a new channel. So this is Nick Talks Cartoon and Friend signing off until whenever we next have a discussion video. Who knows when it will be.